just a week after Donald Trump threatened 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada unless they stop the flow of migrants into the country. And we said at the time, we said this is how he negotiates. This is, we'll never see the tariffs, but this is how he gets the people to the table. There are two developments, up north and down south. First up, it was just after the president, the incoming president, Donald Trump, spoke on the phone to the president of Mexico, and they talked about some sort of an agreement on stopping the flow of people into the United States. Well, you know what happened? Mexican authorities that same day broke up two migrant caravans heading to the United States. And apparently on that same day, the migrants and caravan, the president of Mexico said that migrants and caravans will be taken care of before they reach the border. That is something new, and that happened after her conversation with Donald Trump. So regarding the South, that apparently is something new, and it was because of the tariffs.
Fox and Friends has given us a glimpse into how seamlessly they plan on reporting everything Donald Trump claims as fact as he re-enters the White House, because the president of Mexico has responded with a different set of facts.
Just days after the president-elect threatened to slap a 25% tariff on goods entering the U.S. from Mexico and Canada, Trump is now boasting that Mexico's president has agreed to stop migration through her country and close the Mexican border. She says that's not quite right.
On social media, President Trump declared the U.S. is getting a big assist from Mexico to secure the border, claiming President Claudia Sheinbaum has agreed to stop migration through Mexico and into the United States, effectively closing our southern border, and that the country would stop people from going there, effective immediately. Sheinbaum disputed that in her own post. We reiterate that Mexico's position is not to close borders, but to build bridges between governments and between peoples.
Buenos días.
But Sheinbaum said caravans like this one spotted in southern Mexico would be stopped.
Supporters would be compelled to believe everything Trump says because despite his propensity to lie to make himself look good or make others look bad, they're invested in the image of success more than the reality of it. Just take a look at his campaign on COVID being nothing, despite the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans. He'll post things like this. Just had a wonderful conversation with the new president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo. She has agreed to stop migration through Mexico and into the United States, effectively closing our southern border. We also talked about what can be done to stop the massive drug inflow into the United States and also U.S. consumption of these drugs. It was a very productive conversation. He posted that while the person he's talking about released this.
And then we had a statement from Sheinbaum herself disputing that characterization of the call. She wrote, quote, "Everyone has their own way of communicating, but I can assure you, I give you the certainty that we would never, and we would be incapable of it, to propose that we would close the border. It has never been our approach, and of course, we don't agree with that." So again, very different views of what was said. But I think this is really a very important moment, Alex, because we know that so much of what Donald Trump had promised to voters and Americans throughout his time on the campaign trail was to really crack down on crime and illegal immigration into the United States.
There's circumstances and realities that world leaders have to deal with when making promises and declarations that those promises have been met. Seems like we've gotten used to the Trump approach of yelling and barking out orders, then suddenly claiming that all of his petulance has resulted in blue skies and rainbows, knowing that enough supporters will just believe him and feel accomplished. For example, Mexico never paid for his wall the way that he claimed that they would, but MAGA supporters never held those failed promises against him. So now that President Sheinbaum points out that they're incapable of closing the border and telling drug dealers and cartels to stop supplying Americans with the drugs that we happily consume, not just the poor folks, but rich people too, that simple equation is lost in all the high-stepping when no one has scored any touchdowns yet. So if and when Trump's promises of tariffs are implemented and then harm the same Americans that support him, we may refuse to believe what was said over and over during his campaign in favor of those tariffs.
Concerns of a massive trade war between the U.S. and two of its largest trade partners after President-elect Donald Trump said on his first day in office he will, quote, charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders. Trump went on to say the tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Well, the fallout pretty much immediate. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum responding to those threats in a letter to Donald Trump, writing, quote, "Neither threats nor tariffs will solve the issue of migration or drug consumption."